All right, guys, welcome back into another episode to the Show Baseball Podcast, presented by ProspectsLive.com. I am your host, Andrew Parker, and today's episode, we are diving into the Colorado Rockies system. I have Jackson Cox on, who is fresh off winning a Player of the Week award in the Pacific Northwest League. And he has been off to a pretty good start this year after a great year last year in low-A Fresno. He had his first shutout outing last week. He went 6 innings. 2 hits, 0 earned runs, 2 walks, and 9 strikeouts. He's got a 12 strikeout per 9 this year. He is absolutely working it this year. And the walk rate's being, a work in progress for him. He talked about it a little bit on the podcast, and he's doing well this year. So we had him on, and we talked about all of it. But before I shoot to the interview, whether you're watching me on YouTube right now, listening on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, wherever it is, please like and subscribe. It means a ton to me. Helps me a lot. I'm trying to push the YouTube channel right now to 600 subs. It's a newer channel. I'm trying my best to get it up there. So, any help is appreciated. But without further ado, let me shoot you on to the interview with Jackson Cox. All right, Jackson, you're coming off a Player of the Week award for your outing last week, and you've been off to a pretty good start this year. So that's exactly where I want to begin. How are things going for you to start 2026? And I guess how was the start last week? And just talk to me about the start of your season.
I'd say so far the year's been going pretty good. Had a couple outings where kind of got my teeth kicked in, but other than that, I've been happy with it. Blaine Beatty, our pitching coach, has been very helpful this year, and then having Alan Espinal behind the dish has been it's been a good connection. I had them all last year in Fresno too, so we're pretty familiar with each other.
Yeah, and that's something too. Obviously, minor league baseball is that it's probably fun for a player like yourself, where it's like you're a starter, you only get like 1 start a week, and if you do get your teeth kicked in, the stat, your box score and your stats and the ERA, like everything is just like looking really inflated. But obviously you're coming off of one of your best starts of the year. You punched out 9. I mean, I know you had 10 in a previous outing, but how nice is that to finish a week off like that and be able to kind of get back into form and come into this week on a good start?
It felt really good, especially getting my first shutout outing of the season. Was kind of chasing that one for a while. My biggest focus is kind of not riding the highs and lows too much, trying to stay as even keel as possible, and just still trying to get better every day, doing my work. That way I'm ready for the next start, which will be Hillsborough on Friday.
So I saw that you do you call the Pacific Northwest home?
Yes, I'm from Toutle, Washington. It's a small town at the base of Mount St. Helens.
Okay, so you're essentially like playing home games. So like, I mean, this is some of
pretty much.
some of the closest affiliates. You usually don't see that because a lot of guys that are playing up there are not from up there. So how much of is that like an advantage to you at all, that it's like you're kind of close to your friends and family, maybe you're the area a little better, like I guess how has that been?
It's been really nice having my support system so close to me. It's easier for friends and family to come watch, not having to worry about booking flights. So that part's been really nice. Hillsborough actually is my closest one to my home. Spokane's I'm on the west side, so being over here on the east side in Spokane it's nice. It's a very, very good view. A lot of outdoor stuff to do, which I love doing as a kid. So being able to do that again has been really nice.
So you're saying on your next start here in Hillsborough, you might have a few more people in the stands?
We'll be in Spokane, but yeah,
Okay.
I know my parents are coming over, and then my childhood best friends are close to Spokane, so they might be able to make it too.
Okay. Yeah. Sorry. I've personally never been to the Pacific Northwest. That is something that's on my bucket list. I know it's beautiful. I know it's a great part of the country.
I would come during June and July. August might be a little hot, but those are your 2 months where you probably won't catch any rain.
Okay. Well, I mean, obviously, I probably was talking on a line there, like saying like, hey, you're close to home and everything. I know it's a pretty big state, and I'm used to the New England area where it's like you can drive 2 hours and you hit 5 different states. So I know it's a little different up in the PNW part of I know the states are a lot wider up there, so I know it's probably a little farther drive between affiliates and things like that.
This is honestly not too bad, and I grew up in a town with less than 1,000 people, so I understand traveling to different towns and it not taking very long.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I grew up in the Midwest. I should know like things are, pretty far apart, but I've gotten so used to being like, I can go in 5 different states in less than 2.5. So I
Oh
know it's not
wow.
like that everywhere. Yeah. New England's crazy, man. It's absolutely wild. But it's your first taste of high A baseball this year. I know you were down in single A last year. Have you noticed anything differently about like competition wise, or just like have you noticed anything at all about the change of level?
I would say that the hitters have more of an approach at this level compared to low A. Definitely see a lot of college guys this year, fresh out, where they're looking for a pitch instead of just going up trying to get their hacks in. Not as many free swingers.
Yeah, is that what have you kind of learned about yourself like with this process? Like, do you have to maybe go into every at bat with more of a plan? Like, I guess how does that look?
I definitely look at where guys are doing the most damage on baseballs. So I try to stay away from those heat maps. But my biggest plan is attacking and challenging hitters, and just making sure that I'm throwing all my stuff in the strike zone.
That's something that I feel like you've done a really good job about. I know Spokane just tweeted out the stat yesterday. You have 11.98 K per nine. It's the second best in minor league baseball with at least 50 innings pitched this year. Is that something that you kind of like looked at this offseason of like, trying to get more swing and miss, trying to walk less guys? Like, what did you kind of use your offseason for to prep for this year?
It was more so to not walk as many guys because walks really frustrate me. So just trying to eliminate those as much as possible. I found when I was trying to create too much swing and miss, that's when the walks kind of escalated. So just throwing it in the zone, and obviously the strikeouts are nice. Like I love strikeouts, but if they don't show up in certain outings, but I'm still putting up zeros and helping my team be in a position to win, then I'm still happy with it.
Yeah, that's crazy that you just said trying to walk less guys. I mean, you had a 2.6 walk per nine last year, which is below league average. So I guess that's an interesting. I mean, but I do appreciate the honesty. It's like they drive me crazy. I mean, as a pitcher.
That first month in Fresno was pretty bad, especially on the walks, and then finally caught a groove for a couple of months and then started to walk more guys again. So I'm trying to be more consistent, I guess, with it, where I don't have elevated months for walks, and then just trying to keep those numbers as low as possible.
Yeah. But so you kind of talked about obviously trying to walk less guys and things you're working on over the offseason. Did the organization like give you anything of like, hey, like we have like we want you, a velo goal. We have like, hey, we'd love to introduce you new pitches to the arsenal. Like, did they do anything like tweaking any type of pitches? Did they do anything like that over the offseason?
I added a cutter this off season, but in terms of communication with the org, it was a little weird this year with how many changes we had. So, I mean, most of the guys that I'd normally talk to at the end of the year and expect to see next spring didn't see as many of those guys. I still would talk to Jerry Sullivan from time to time. He was my pitching coach in Fresno, and now he's in Double A.
Interesting. Okay. Yeah, I guess I didn't really think about that. Whenever an org has so much turnover like that, what kind of happens?
Yeah, it was definitely a shock, but like I said, my focus was just kind of cleaning up the walks and then getting my body ready for this season.
We are we're coming up on the MLB draft here shortly. I think it's in about a month. But we're coming up now on the 4-year anniversary of you being drafted to Pro Ball. Is that kind of crazy? Think about that. It's been almost 4 years now since you've turned pro.
Kind of makes me feel a little old when I find out that this is the fourth draft I'm gonna experience. But
You can't say you're old, man. You can't.
I know I can't, but it fourth draft class kind of just makes me feel that way sometimes.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, once you hit 30, you can come talk to me. I just hit 30, man. The knees are feeling a little differently than they used to, but all that. But you're 4 years into pro ball now. Like you said, four draft classes now. Like, is it everything you thought it was going to be? I guess. What is your, I guess, looking back, like how has pro ball been for you?
Obviously, the injury part of it sucked, but other than that, I've loved my experience in pro ball. Got a great org. We're trending in the right directions, definitely, and I'm excited to just continue this journey and do my part to help not only the team I'm with succeed, but the org succeed over the years.
Well, I'm so curious if we put you in a time capsule and I was interviewing you 4 years ago at this point, we were about a month out from the draft. If you would have thought 4 years from now you'd be in the position you're in now, like, do you think you would probably say yes or no?
I'd probably say no. I did not think that I would ever um, get Tommy John. Obviously, I would say
Yeah,
that would be the
well,
biggest.
true.
That'd probably be the biggest wild card in my time capsule interview.
Okay, that's fair. I'll give you that one. Obviously, with TJ aside, I'm assuming that yeah, it probably changed the trajectory just a little bit, obviously, of where you were at a certain time. So that is fair. That's a very fair point. Um, but I do want to ask too. It's I always find it very fascinating, and I talk to guys, a lot of guys that went the college route, a lot of guys that went JUCO route, a lot of guys that went from high school. Um, would you like I guess well, first of all I want to ask, like, I don't know this information already, but like, were you committed to go somewhere for college?
Yes, I was committed to go to the University of Oregon.
Okay, so you were trying to stay home if you chose to go the college route. Was that one of the hardest decisions you've ever made, or was that like an easy thing for you to, like, I want to go be start my pro career?
It was difficult. I mean, Coach Waz at Oregon, amazing guy. He even told me that I was able to rehab at their place when I found out I needed surgery. So it was very tough to walk away from that aspect of it playing for him. And then Jake Angier at the time was the pitching coach, who's now at New Mexico State, and he had recruited me. So obviously, not showing up and playing with those guys and some of my buddies that had almost committed there was tough. But at the end of the day, I was ready to start my pro career, and I was in a position where it was tough to turn down.
Yeah, I hear nothing but good things about the Oregon Ducks baseball program these days. Josh Kasevich, he's a member of the Blue Jays org. He is always yelling "Go Ducks" out on the field. I mean, he is the most pro Oregon Duck I've heard in the baseball world, and he opened my eyes to the baseball program out there. They're doing incredible stuff.
Yeah, they've done really good since Coach Waz took it over.
I do miss the Pac-12 though. I'm going to be honest. I
I
miss
did
it a
as
lot.
well. Yeah.
It's Pac-12 football, man. At night, it's just like it was a whole different thing. I'm sure the Pac-12 baseball scene was awesome too, but obviously the Big Ten. Big Ten's good. It's got its perks, but man, do I miss the Pac-12. It's just an end of an era.
Yeah.
Um, well, my next question here, we did talk about, obviously you went through the Tommy John thing. You were back last year, but something that I think gets kind of not talked about when it comes to like having an injury like that, or even if you tear your ACL or Achilles or anything, is the amount of time that you can't actually go out and do the thing that you're being paid to do and that you love to do. So did that kind of give you like a different outlook, like after going through like the TJ, the rehab, the really long rehab? Like, does that give you a different mindset when you return to the mound and be like, I don't want to go through that ever again?
Yes, it definitely does. And I love baseball. It's obviously my favorite thing in the world. I love doing it as a job. And being able to not compete for so long, it made me appreciate it even more than I already did. And I was going to do everything I could rehab wise or arm care wise once I was healthy again to make sure that I wasn't sidelined again.
Yeah, I feel like it's such an underrated talking point about, like, it's not even just that you can't physically do your job. It's almost like the mental battle of I see all of my draft classmates, I see all my buddies in the org out there doing their thing, and I'm just stuck at the complex rehabbing every day for a while. I feel like that's got to be the toughest part.
It was challenging, and unfortunately, I had a great group of guys because there was so many of us when I was going through it that they helped get me through that, and it made the mental part even easier. I mean, we would all work out and rehab at the field, and then on Saturdays, since we had Sunday off, we'd all come over to my house and we play a friendly game of poker. So
Ooh, love
kind of being
that.
able to connect with that aspect obviously brought us a lot closer and made the mental aspect a lot easier for at least for me. I don't know. I hope it did for the rest of the guys, but I know it did for me.
You just helped me transition into my next question here. But with talking about the poker thing, but I always hear too, like a lot of guys pick up maybe different hobbies, like when they are on the shelf for a little bit. But what are you doing if you're not at the baseball field? Like if you're not training, you're not on a bus ride. Like what are you doing if you do have some free time?
I like to fish. Haven't been able to get out there this year yet, mostly because I'm having to throw on our Monday off days where we travel. So that's a big hobby. Hanging out with the guys, or sometimes I'll binge watch a show with my girlfriend. That's I kind of like to lay back, treat my off days like off days.
Okay.
Um,
I didn't hear golf.
I don't golf during the season, so I left my clubs
Ooh,
back in Arizona.
okay. That's a hot take.
It I don't know, sometimes it still feels a little weird on the elbow, so I try to do it just in the off season when it doesn't matter if I accidentally tweak something.
Okay, that's a fair point. I'm always so surprised by that too. That some guys like that are rehabbing injury and stuff. They're out there on the golf course. They just love it. But I can only imagine that sometimes it could feel a little weird on the elbow, especially after a guy coming back from TJ.
Yeah, I didn't golf for 2 years, and honestly, it feels normal until I chunk one, and I'm a bad golfer, so that happens from time to time.
Just one of us.
Yeah, it's not painful. It's just like, oh, that doesn't feel good hitting into the ground, but I'm sure everybody sees that.
That's fair. All right, I can relate to that one. I haven't had TJ, but I can relate to that one. That it does not feel great whenever you do absolutely bring up part of the earth on a swing, then the ball goes nowhere. So I can relate. So you had mentioned that you were a big fishing guy. How is the? Well, I mean, you're kind of. I mean, we talked about this earlier, but you're from up that area. Like, I don't know if you've looked ahead to where the. I'm sure you know where the Double A affiliate is for your organization, but it's in the old Northeast. So, have you? Are you going to be scouting out any fishing spots up in the Northeast?
I'm not that. Um, I don't scout places out. If I know about a lake or a river, I'll just go try it out and kind of figure out what's working. But I grew up bass fishing with my dad and
Okay.
younger brother, so I always have a special place in my heart for bass fishing.
Okay, good man. That's a good Southern Missouri Midwest thing. I like that. That hits home for me. Some of the best bass fishing in the world down in Branson, Missouri, at the Lake of the Ozarks. Man, you got to get down there if you haven't. It's absolutely fantastic. Um,
I've heard there's some big fish down there.
oh yeah, it's good. I mean, Bass Pros HQ is down there. I mean, that's I guess that's telling. I guess.
Yeah.
So, all right, I got two questions left, and I'm going to let you slide here.
Okay.
Let's just say, let's just say you get out to Hartford. Once you do get out to Hartford, you're going to be a long way away from home. Right now, you're not too far. And then once you get down to AAA as well, you're going to be pretty far away from home. What is like one thing you're going to miss the most about like being back in Oregon and just, or just being in home? Like, I guess, what is one of the most like biggest things you're going to be missing about the area?
I love all the hiking trails and how much nature there is to look at. So I don't know how much there is on the east side, but definitely gonna miss that. And then the convenience for my family, how easy it is for them to come watch games right now.
Yeah, I feel like the time change is going to be probably the biggest thing. Like, in
Yeah.
Hartford, like you're going to be like 4 hours ahead. Four. Three, four.
Three. Is it
three,
three or four?
I don't know, man. Daylight savings always kills me because I know Arizona like doesn't do it. Like, I don't know. I'm a little confused, but still, nonetheless, it's going to be like a pretty, like, I've heard a lot of guys say, that are playing out West Coast or East Coast and their families on the other coast. It's like, my parents are going to bed whenever we start the game or whatever, vice versa. So I know it's a little challenging sometimes with being that, that many time zones away.
Yeah. It's part of it though, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is. It's part of it. All right. I saved the hardest question for last, so I do apologize that this is the toughest one. But we're into June right now. The minor league season is it's gonna be over before you know it. So which is kind of weird to think about because it feels like we just broke camp, but it's already June 2nd, and we got just a few more months left of the season. And I did want to ask, you're at a point right now where I gotta look this up. You've made 10 starts this year. So you're about maybe a third of the way through your season right now. Let's just say we're at the end of the year. What kind of things would you look at to say that, hey, I had a really successful season in 2026? They can be like statistical, they can just be like personal. Like what would you categorize a successful year?
For me, I'd say I had a goal of having a sub-3 ERA, so I think that would be one of the things that made it successful. Having under 40 walks, 40 or 45 walks. I'm not gonna say where I end up because ultimately I don't have any control over that. I just got to keep pitching and just controlling what I can control. So I would say that those two, and then trying to get 200 strikeouts. So that's another goal for me, but I'm not going to consider it a failure if I don't reach that goal.
I was gonna say, is that hard to? I've talked to a ton of guys, and I feel like guys are so against like putting statistical goals like a sub-3 or something out there, just because it might not be the easiest to obtain. Like, is that something that like just pushes you harder during the games, or is that just something that's going to drive you crazy if you don't hit? Like, I guess how does that go for yourself? Like making a goal like that.
It's definitely something that motivates me. Um, I don't want to set easy goals, so setting things that are more challenging, I enjoy a lot more, and then, like I said, it gives me something to strive for instead of almost getting complacent if I'm doing good. Just have to remember that there's goals that I'm trying to get, and I can't step my foot off the gas at all at any point during the year.
I actually love that. You always hear it's like you can't set goals that are like too easy, too attainable. It's like, what's the point of setting that goal? So,
Yeah.
okay. I like that. I appreciate that answer. All right, Jackson, I appreciate all the time. Obviously, I'm wishing you the best of luck going forward here in 2026. But thank you again for doing this.
Thank you very much, and I appreciate you taking the time to talk with me.